The United States Air Force recently released for the first time a concept image of the latest stealth bomber being worked on with Northrop Grumman, the B-21 Raider. The bomber, which has been in the works since 2015 and is targeted to be operational in 2025, is quite a secret. There are many unknowns: exactly what the plane will look like, how much it will cost, and how it will develop. The B-21 successfully completed a critical design review late last year, much of it shrouded in mystery. However, despite all the secrecy, tantalizing details about the B-21 can be learned by listening to comments scattered from senior Air Force officials in various places. Here are 10 things that are known about the future fighter, as quoted by Forbes some time ago. 1. New technology. The performance requirements for the B-21 were largely frozen in 2010, and for years before the development contract was awarded, the Air Force researched how to build the major onboard systems. Much of the technology had been repurposed from other programs, such as using the same Pratt & Whitney engines found on the aircraft. Integrating the entire aircraft would be a challenge, especially fitting the engines into the fuselage and placing the antennas. But the B-21 is a very mature design and should have endured few developmental surprises. 2. Lower production costs. The Air Force set cost as its primary performance parameter early on, insisting that each production bomber cost no more than $550 million in 2010. Competing industry teams, however, submitted bids well below that figure. The Northrop Grumman team won the contract in part because, according to the Government Accountability Office, the company had a substantial cost-price advantage over rival Boeing, even though Boeing's own bid was quite aggressive. The average cost of the B-21 under a fixed-price production contract would likely be less than the price tag for a wide-body commercial jet. 3. It can hit any target, anywhere. The B-21 is designed to address all the shortcomings of the current heavy bomber fleet, which consists of 157 aging Cold War aircraft. Specifically, the Flying Iron will have the range, payload, attack capabilities and survivability to take on every category of potential target, including deeply buried or sensitive targets to China. The basic logic of its design is that if the B-21 is to be an effective deterrent to all forms of aggression, it must be able to put at risk every asset that an adversary values. 4. Armed with a variety of munitions including nuclear. The B-21 Raider will replace the B-2 stealth aircraft, also developed by Northrop Grumman, in the strategic nuclear penetration mission assigned to heavy bombers. That means it will be reassigned from day one to carry the B-61 variable nuclear gravity bomb and the long-range standoff (LRSO) nuclear cruise missile. But it will debut as a conventional bomber capable of deploying a variety of smart weapons such as Boeing's GPS-guided Joint Direct Attack munition, which glides long distances to its target. The B-21 will likely replace the retiring B-1B bomber as home to the Navy's long-range anti-ship missile, a conventional cruise missile built by Lockheed Martin. 5. Systems equipped. The Air Force considers the B-21 Raider to be part of a systems architecture designed to support long-range strike missions. That family of systems, as the Air Force calls it, includes an airframe, munitions, surveillance systems, electronic warfare platforms, and resilient communications channels. Some of those architectural features, such as the role played by surveillance satellites, are not publicly discussed. The B-21 will also have the functionality to leverage any architectural features that are useful in accomplishing its mission. 6. Operate autonomously. Despite its connections to off-board systems, the B-21 will have the ability to shut off all external communications and carry out strike missions autonomously. That requirement is dictated by the dangers of wartime communications that could help reveal the bomber's location or destination, as well as the need to operate in a nuclear environment where nearby explosions could degrade communications. So while the B-21 Raider can leverage its capabilities, it has adequate surveillance, targeting, and self-defense capabilities to accomplish the mission, even in hostile environments. 7. Assembled at Air Force Plant 42, Palmdale, California. The B-21 will be integrated at a secure, contractor-operated, government-owned facility known as Air Force Plant 42 near Palmdale, California. Plant 42 has more than 3 million square feet of industrial space and is near Edwards Air Force Base where the bomber will undergo flight testing. The B-2 and Space Shuttle wings are both assembled at the same site, which traces its origins back to the 1930s. Northrop Grumman has received funding for a coating facility at Palmdale that plays a role in adding features to the bomber. Low observability would make the B-21 nearly invisible to enemy defense radars at relevant wavelengths. 8. Key subcontractors known. The Air Force initially declined to disclose the subcontractors supporting Northrop Grumman in building the B-21 for security reasons. However, it then identified the 7 most important players in the production process. Pratt & Whitney will build the engines, BAE Systems will supply the defense electronics, Collins Aerospace will provide the flight controls, and Spirit AeroSystems will produce the structural components. Much of the subcontracting work will be done in secure facilities. 9. Maintenance is easier than ever. Observable technology revolutionized air warfare, but in the beginning the challenge of keeping aircraft stealthy during their operational lives was a major one. The aircraft often needed to be grounded for long periods and ensure that once in the air, things like seams between parts wouldn't reflect radar energy. Northrop's B-2 bomber has been a testament to developing a more affordable method of maintaining low observability. The Air Force made maintenance a requirement of the Raider program, and wanted the aircraft to be as easy to maintain as Boeing's F-15 fighter. Once the bomber enters service, its maintenance will translate into high levels of readiness. 10. Much-needed bomber. Some might say the bomber is much needed today, and the Pentagon has taken too long to fund the development of a new bomber. Much of the current heavy bomber fleet is unavailable for combat due to age-related issues like corrosion and metal fatigue. The increasing emphasis on China and Western Pacific operations in America's military strategy is increasing the demand for long-range strike aircraft, at a time when the bomber fleet is at a weak point. By the time the B-21 Raider debuts in the second half of the next decade, there will be no doubt about its centrality to national strategy. Some observers think the entire bomber force could eventually be replaced by the B-21, with a total purchase of as many as 200 of the aircraft. But first the aircraft will have to prove itself.